I woke up to a miracle today. Triggers stay as I find my way. No judgment to lead astray. In this peaceful state I'll stay.
Welcome back to the Course in Practice.
It's good to be here exploring how these ideas apply in our everyday lives.
Today, our exploration centers on Lesson 289.
Ah, yes. The past is over. It can touch me not. A powerful one.
A very warm welcome to you, whether this is your first time joining us or if you're a regular listener following these explorations.
We're glad you're here for this.
So, thinking about our recent discussions, we've really been looking at how this sense of self, what the Course often terms the ego, is almost entirely constructed from the past.
It's built out of memories, the judgments we've attached to them, all those experiences we carry around.
And today's exploration dives deeper into how we can actually release those stories. The mechanism the Course offers is forgiveness.
The goal being really to live more freely, more fully in the present moment, letting go of that weight.
Exactly. So let's begin with the lesson itself. Would you like to read it?
I will.
This is Lesson 289 from the Course.
The past is over. It can touch me not. Unless the past is over in my mind, the real world must escape my sight. For I'm really looking nowhere, seeing but what is not there. How can I then perceive the world forgiveness offers? This the past was made to hide. For this the world that can be looked on only now. It has no past. For what can be forgiven but the past? And if it is forgiven, it is gone. Father, let me not look upon a past that is not there, for you have offered me your own replacement. In a present world, the past is left untouched and free of sin. Here is the end of guilt. And here am I, made ready for your final step. Shall I demand that you wait longer for your son to find the loveliness you plan to be the end of all his dreams and all his pain?
Thank you. It really sets the stage, doesn't it? This core idea that our perception is clouded unless the past is truly released in our minds.
It points directly to that conflict, the ego identity built on history versus the possibility of a present reality free from it.
Let's unpack that ego identity connection first. We touched on this before, but it's central here. This identity is made of past stuff.
Memories, interpretations of events, labels we've accepted or given ourselves, judgments, grievances, it's all historical data.
And the lesson implies this identity inherently feels afraid. Why is that, do you think, based on the Course's perspective?
Because its foundation is separation. It believes it's a separate entity defined by its unique history, which includes all its perceived vulnerabilities, mistakes, hurts.
So the past isn't just a record. It's the source code for the feeling of being vulnerable and alone.
That's the idea. When the lesson connects the past to an identity that traps us in fear, it's saying our false self is that story, a story rooted in past experiences of lack or attack, real or perceived.
And forgiveness, then, is the tool to loosen those bonds.
It's presented as the way to start untangling ourselves from that story, to free us up to experience our true self, which the Course defines quite differently as love, as unity, as eternally safe.
The lesson states forgiveness applies only to the past. That's quite specific.
It makes sense conceptually, right? Anything that seems to require forgiveness, it happened then. An action, a word, a thought. It occurred in a moment that is now gone.
So the present moment, this instant right now, is inherently free. There's no guilt or blame actually in it.
The guilt or blame we feel now is being imported, so to speak, from that past archive. Holding on to the past, replaying it, judging it. That's what traps us in illusion.
And prevents us from seeing what the Course calls the real world. The world forgiveness offers.
A world looked on now, without the filter of past grievances or interpretations.
This lesson comes quite late in the workbook for students. Does that carry significance?
I think it does. It feels like a culmination. The lesson itself mentions being made ready for your final step. It suggests that letting go of the past, truly forgiving it, is perhaps the final hurdle in releasing guilt entirely.
The final step toward fully embracing the peace of the present.
And stepping out of that false identity built on past pain. Forgiving the past is the active mechanism for undoing it, allowing our real self, our true nature, to emerge more consistently.
Let's make this more concrete. How does this play out in lived experience? These concepts can feel abstract.
They can. Personal experience often helps bridge that gap. I can share something if that's useful.
Please do.
For years, I carried a deep sense of shame, really, related to a specific incident in school. I wasn't the main aggressor, but I was laughing when a friend was bullying another student. I just stood there, maybe chuckled along nervously.
That kind of passive participation can feel incredibly heavy afterward.
It really did. That memory just seemed to stick. It colored my view of myself for a long, long time, making me doubt my own goodness, you could say.
How did the course's perspective, like this lesson, help with that?
It provided a framework. It wasn't about pretending the event didn't happen or excusing my inaction. It was about recognizing that the shame I felt now was tied to continually re-identifying with that past self, that past moment.
So applying the past is over, it can touch me not directly to that memory.
Yes. When the memory or the feeling would surface, the practice became about consciously applying that idea, acknowledging the event occurred, acknowledging the feelings, but then reminding myself that that past self isn't who I am right now. The past event cannot dictate my worthiness or my peace in this present moment unless I allow it to.
Does it still come up?
Honestly, yes, sometimes a flicker, but it doesn't have the same grip. The practice has loosened its hold. It's a process, this forgiveness. Freedom grows, maybe slowly, but it does grow. It's about choosing now over then.
That makes sense. It reminds me of something related to identity and growth. Hearing Dr. Jill Bolte-Taylor talk about her stroke, how she literally lost the brain function associated with her ego, her past narrative, that was transformative for me.
Her story is incredible. The experience of pure present moment awareness, free from personal history.
Right. Now, I haven't had a stroke, and I certainly haven't fully shed my past or the ego associated with it. But her experience highlighted the possibility of not being defined by history. What changed for me was I stopped defending the old identity so fiercely.
That's a key shift. Not necessarily erasing the past, but ceasing the active defense of the ego built upon it.
It became less about clinging to who I was, the professional achievements, the old ways of handling conflict, the intellectual persona, and more about allowing space for who I might be becoming through this spiritual practice.
That sounds like integrating the learning into life, trying new things, expressing yourself differently, even if it feels vulnerable because it doesn't match the old script.
Precisely. It's exciting, but also challenging. It means stepping outside the comfort zone of the known historical selves. It grounds this spiritual concept in the reality of trying to live differently day to day.
So let's broaden this out. How does this principle, the past is over, it can touch me not, apply in other common life situations where the past feels very present?
Breakups are a big one, aren't they? The end of a relationship.
Definitely. The pain often isn't just the loss itself, but the constant mental replay of painful moments, perceived betrayals, or focusing on what went wrong, what you did wrong.
The healing process, from this perspective, involves forgiving those memories, not condoning actions perhaps, but releasing the emotional charge so those memories stop defining your self-worth or your expectations for future relationships.
It's about letting the past relationship be over in your mind so it doesn't contaminate the present potential for connection or dictate your value. Allowing the heart to open again requires releasing the historical narrative of hurt.
What about professional life? Making mistakes at work, maybe significant ones?
That's another area where the past can feel very potent. The ego can react with harsh self-condemnation, replaying the error, fostering shame or fear of future failure.
So applying the lesson here means releasing the ego's judgment while still acknowledging the practical consequences.
It's differentiating between the event and the identity. The mistake happened. Perhaps there are real-world things to address, apologies, corrections, system changes. That needs to be handled calmly and wisely in the present.
But without the overlay of self-attack, releasing the guilt associated with the past mistake allows you to access your resources now to deal with the fallout effectively, rather than being paralyzed by shame.
And family dynamics, grudges, Those can stretch back years, even generations.
Oh, absolutely. We often interact not with the family member in front of us, but with our stored image of them, built from decades of past interactions, hurts, and assumptions.
Forgiving in this context means choosing to see beyond that historical image, releasing the resentment, letting go of the need to be right about past wrongs. It's deciding the past story no longer dictates the present interaction.
Which could potentially allow the relationship to shift, to be seen with fresh eyes, maybe even heal.
And finally, grief. Dealing with the loss of a loved one. How does this lesson speak to that?
That's perhaps the most tender application. The Course teaches that death itself is an illusion, part of the ego's dream. But the experience of loss is profound.
Grief is natural, but sometimes suffering becomes prolonged because we're attached to the physical form, the past experiences, the relationship as it was.
Forgiveness here might mean forgiving our attachment to that specific form, that specific past manifestation of the relationship. The Course suggests that the love, the connection, is eternal and continues beyond physical absence.
So, easing grief involves shifting focus from the past loss to the present, enduring reality of love. Forgiveness reveals that enduring connection beneath the pain of separation.
In all these cases, breakups, work mistakes, family issues, grief, the core mechanism seems the same.
It comes back to shifting our identification, moving it away from the story rooted in past pain and towards the wholeness and peace available right now in this present moment.
Forgiveness is the active tool for that shift, reaffirming the idea that the past is an illusion we can choose moment by moment to let go of.
Which frees us to be fully present, responsive, and at peace now.
There's a line in the text of the Course, I think it's chapter 5, that supports this idea directly.
Ah, yes. It says something like, "The past is gone, it is no more. What seemed to be was only seen because the past was present." That really highlights the idea that the past only seems real because we keep bringing it into the present moment through our thoughts, our focus, our grievances.
It reinforces that conceptual link the past doesn't exist independently. Its apparent reality is entirely dependent on our current mental activity.
It only has the power we give it right now.
Okay, this seems like a good point to transition. We've explored the concept, looked at examples.
Yeah.
How about we move into a practice, a way to apply this lesson directly?
Yes, a short, gentle forgiveness meditation could help integrate this experientially.
All right, so if you're able to, find a comfortable position. You don't need to do anything special. Just allow yourself to settle.
Maybe take a few deep breaths, breathing in, perhaps imagining breathing in peace, and breathing out, letting go of any tension you might be holding.
Just allowing the body and the mind to relax a little, arriving fully in this present moment.
Now, gently bring to mind a memory or a regret that still feels active. Something from the past that perhaps still holds a bit of a charge for you, a story that tends to replay.
Don't force it. Just allow something to surface naturally. And notice where you feel it. Is it a tightness in the body? A recurring thought pattern? Just observe it without judgment. And now, quietly, internally, begin to repeat the core idea of today's lesson. The past is over. It can touch me not. Just let the words gently wash over the memory, over the feeling. The past is over. You can touch me not.
As you repeat the mantra, you might imagine that memory, that story loosening its grip. Perhaps visualize any heaviness associated with it dissolving, maybe like mist evaporating in the sunlight.
Allow forgiveness, which the Course describes as a gentle healing light. Allow it to touch this memory. Remind yourself that while the event happened in the past, it does not have inherent power over how you feel or who you are right now. Gently repeat the words again. The past is over. You can touch me not. If your mind wanders off, that's perfectly normal. Just gently guide it back to your breath, back to the words, back to the feeling of allowing release.
Take another deep breath, breathing in peace. And know that if complete peace or release doesn't come today, that is okay. This isn't a one-time fix.
This is a practice, something you can return to whenever a past hurt or regret surfaces. Forgiveness works gently, lovingly over time. Be patient with yourself.
Take a moment just to be still, breathing in that sense of release, however small it might feel right now.
And when you feel ready, you can slowly open your eyes, bringing this awareness, this intention of releasing the past back with you into your day.
This kind of practice is a way to actively undo the past's hold, bit by bit, and come home to the peace of the present moment.
Thank you for guiding us through that. It really helps to move from the intellectual understanding to a felt sense.
The experiential part is where the shift really happens.
So let's summarize the key takeaway from today's exploration. What's the core message? I think it's quite direct. The past only has power over us when we actively choose to hold on to it in the present moment. Through our thoughts, our grievances, our identification with past events or past selves.
And the antidote, the mechanism for release, is forgiveness, not as a moral judgment, but as a conscious decision to withdraw our energy and belief from what is gone.
Doing so releases that false, past-based identity.
And allows our true self, the one that is present, peaceful, and whole, to emerge more clearly.
It's a shift from being defined by history to being alive in the now.
If you found today's exploration helpful, and perhaps missed our previous discussion on the mechanics of identity, you might find that one useful too. They tie together quite closely. And we encourage you to reflect on this. How does holding on to the past affect your experience of the present moment? Where might you apply this idea of the past is over, it can touch me not today? We always appreciate hearing your reflections or any questions that come up for you. You can connect with us through social media. We're at the World Harmony Project.
Or you can send us an email. The address is acim@theworldharmonyproject.org.
Thank you for joining us in this exploration, for being part of this journey into the Course.
Until we meet again, be safe.
And be peaceful.